Hello everyone and a happy new year. As we move into January 2024, I want to just take some time to reflect on this past year and how it has been for this hobby, this interest that we all have, which is great movies and collecting them on physical media. Over the next 2 weeks, I plan to upload a number of videos doing my best of lists of 2023. So look out for those. There's going to be my favourite 4K discs of the year, my favourite boutique Blu-rays, my favourite box set, my favourite label, and my favourite first-time watches of the year. So there's a lot of lists coming to you very soon, but for now I just want to talk a bit more generally about what sort of year 2023 was for, this hobby that we have. For many years now, people have been saying physical media is dying, and that seems to be reflected in the general consensus of the population. Most people aren't buying films on disc and they are choosing to use streaming services instead because of the convenience, the low cost, etc. The industry is changing and we are seeing that in real time, and it looks to me like things are shifting more towards the boutique side of the industry, the collectible stuff, the more niche cult side of cinema. And for my own personal tastes, that is a great thing, and we've seen in 2023 so many great releases from so many different labels around the world. It honestly has been the best year for me as a collector, and I've loved it. We've seen some new labels enter the industry, bringing great stuff to the market, and it seems like they are very well received, which is a great thing. We've seen from the more established labels that they keep going from strength to strength, sometimes diversifying into different areas of cinema, which I think has really paid off for a number of different labels. And I don't want to jinx it or anything, but I'm seeing more people who, in my life, are not that interested in collecting films, actually becoming more engaged, and they're coming to me asking me, what is the Criterion Collection? What is a 4K Blu-ray? Because I think there is sort of a bit of a malaise setting in with all of these streaming services and films going missing from them and all sorts of different problems with them. So it's great to see more people looking towards physical media and Blu-rays and DVDs as a way to keep a hold of the films that you love watching. I've managed to pick up quite a lot of Blu-rays this year, but there is still so many that I did not manage to get because I just simply can't afford everything and I don't have the time to watch everything, which sounds like it would be a bad thing. But actually, it's great that that is the case. I'd hate to be in a situation where there's only a few releases every year to buy, so I'm grateful that there is so much choice out there. So 2023 has been a great year in that regard. There's also some bad things to talk about because no year is perfect. We've seen a few labels stopping trading and packing up shop and going away forever. Labels like Network, who are a British label who focused on releasing great British films and British television, and a lot of the films that they released would not really be picked up by other labels or simply couldn't due to different licensing agreements, and it seemed like Network had a pretty good agreement in place to release a lot of these films that I think will not be available to other labels going forward. So it's a real shame because perhaps for many of the films in their catalogue, these will never be seen again on physical media. But, I keep my fingers crossed because there is a chance that some of these could come back. But for now, it's a very sad thing. And I think personally, I'm still not over the loss of this label. And it's one of those things that you don't realise what you had until it's gone. I wish I had been more grateful of this label when it was around, and I wish I had picked up a lot more Blu-rays. It's funny how the fear of missing out has kicked in gear people to buy all these discs now when the label is dead, because if only we bought all of these when the label was in business, perhaps that could have helped keep it alive. But that's just some speculation. Who knows what would have happened? Another big negative for me this year, and this is more to do with, the economy, the world in general, is that things are just much more expensive. When I look at how much I've spent on films in 2023, if we go back 5 years, I would have got a lot more bang for my buck. So it's a shame that we're in a situation where these films are expensive. Just before Christmas, me and my dad went into town to buy some films. We went into FOP and we picked up 3 films on 4K and it came to just under £80. Now, if you asked me a few years ago, would I spend £80 on 3 films? I would not have. I would have said you're absolutely, completely mad. But unfortunately, if we want brand new films on 4K, that's the kind of price you have to pay. And it's a real shame that it is so expensive, particularly because everything else in life is expensive now. And there isn't really any finger to point in the industry for this. It's just one of those things where prices are going up, production costs are rising, and some of that has to be put on us as the consumer. And I think, unfortunately, if we do predict that the industry is going to shift more towards smaller labels, boutique releases, not as many big studio releases on disc, then I think prices are only going to keep rising. So it's not a good thing to look forward to, but it is just one of those things. And then one more negative thing to talk about, because hey, why not be negative at the start of the year so I can be positive for the rest of it? Looking back at 2023, there were a number of releases that were disappointing. And disappointing for various reasons, but one of them that has really stuck out, and I think this is the case for many people, is the kind of revisionism that is going on in the film industry. I'm talking about when films are being restored, they're being changed, they're being altered, the colours are changing, bits are being cut out. Often it's when the filmmakers are involved directly and they're deciding to change how their film looks. And in those situations, you can't really tell the filmmaker, no, you can't change it because it is their film. There have been a number of films like this that had releases in the year where the restorations have been underwhelming. And I'm not going to name them here because that's not what this video is about, but I'm sure you can guess a few of them. It's an issue that's much bigger than just me not liking how a 4K disc looks. This is an issue that could affect film preservation and film history going forward. It could be a real threat to particularly older films where as time goes on, they become more neglected and the films might be stuck in the kind of current versions that we have today. So anyway, that's a whole issue for another time. I'm probably going to be talking a lot more about it in the near future because, like I say, it is a big deal. And I think it's something that a lot of people aren't actually paying attention to enough, or they're kind of just, giving it a free pass. So with all of that negativity out of the way, I can still say that 2023 probably was the best year for physical media for me personally. I had a great time picking up all of these different releases and enjoying 99% of what I watched. What do you think though? Do you think 2023 was a good year for collecting, or have there been better years on record? Do let me know in a comment below because I always love hearing your opinions. And I'd like to think that I'm not alone in this, but maybe there are a lot of people who would disagree with me. Anyway, Happy New Year once again from me. We have a lot to look forward to in 2024, I'm sure. And make sure to look out for my videos over the next few weeks as I look back at the past year and give you my best of lists. Thank you as always for watching my videos, and I'll see you soon.